Buckle up, folks. We're back with episode 3 with one of my good friends, Sonal Aggarwal, fellow comedian and travel connoisseur, if you will. She's here to tell us about her travels in India, Guatemala, wherever, the planet, really. If you have a travel story of your own, I want to hear it. Email us at traveldisasterspodacst@gmail.com, as well as follow us on all the social media. We are at Travel Disasters. And if you haven't already, why don't you go ahead, give us a little subscribe. Why don't you subscribe? Tell your friends subscribe. Tell your roommates, your mom, your local grocery man. I don't care. I want everybody on this travel party train. And go ahead, while you're at it, why don't you give me 5 stars? You know you want to. I'm excited to read your reviews. Make sure to leave me a nice, thoughtful one. That'll be fun. And get ready, folks, because we're about to start this show. Baby, we're going on the trip from hell, where every flight is missed, they lose your luggage, and you're in the middle seat between a sumo wrestler and a screaming baby. Don't worry, I'm coming along for the ride. I'm Mary Kate Beck, and this is Travel Disasters. Sonal, welcome.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel really good. I feel very grounded. After all the prep. It was good prep.
That's right. We take our podcast very seriously.
This is very serious.
Yes.
Funny business.
We're very professional.
Yes.
So let's talk about how we know each other.
That was so organic.
I know. I was like, bullet point 1. How do we know each other?
I was just off the dome, you know?
Yeah. I
just wanted to ask you how we know each other. Well, the thing about being a comedian, for any of you who are even thinking about whether or not you would want to go up at an open mic, there is a very surprising community awaiting you. Little comedian buds.
That's
and
right.
Lots of comedian dickheads that are waiting for you too. But you know, we're all works in progress, and we're all lucky to have each other.
Yes,
really, especially
yes.
in Chicago. That's what a lot of traveling comedians say from other places in the country. That Chicago's one of the best.
Yeah, it is nice. And you were probably one of the first people that I met and that I actually saw performing, and kind of motivated me to do it more. Yeah, especially seeing female comedians and
that are having fun.
Yes, you're very natural on stage. You don't take it too seriously.
And there's a trope very much, I think, because to be heard and taken seriously, often we do have to get to that level of like, all right, the only way people pay attention is if I'm mad.
Yes.
Right? And then we get kind of trapped in that. So, I mean, ultimately, I'm definitely coming from a place of deep gratitude versus cynicism or whatever, you know. And that's another trope where it's like, oh, we're supposed to be crabby as comedians. I feel like, I don't know if that's shifting in general or, you know, if you're cultivating your environment that you're finding vibes people around the place, you know. And everybody wants to be feeling better. No, that's like a thing now.
Yeah. So we've known each other. I've been doing comedy for about 2 years now. And I feel like I've seen you around, but I feel like the past 6 months I've been getting to know you better, which is nice.
Are you a producer on Hidden Comedy Show?
No.
Do I ask you this every time?
Yes, you do
ask you
me
this
that
every single time.
No, I'm not. I go to that a lot, though, because it's right by my house. I live in Lakeview.
I am a ghost producer, which means I am in the group chat, and I don't even know who the other producers are.
No, it's probably Christina. She's the other blonde woman that people confuse me with a lot.
Yes. Well, fair enough. I get confused with Sabine, and we don't look anything alike
Yeah, it's just
whatsoever.
like, oh, you're a blonde girl. You must be Christina. It's I'm Mary Kate.
I used to get upset about that, but then I heard Rebecca O'Neill and Sonia Denis, who were co-hosting Cole's back in the day. They now are in New York doing bigger things, which is really dope. And they do not look at all, even a little bit alike. And when I heard they were being confused, I was like, okay, cool. I don't care anymore. You know, people, you know, it's funny. People have different expectations of.
For sure.
Knowing people, and I always feel like you're always fun and funny, and you're like, nope, I'm not a producer on that show. You literally ask me this every single time.
But it's fine. And like, I feel like we all have so many like side projects that we don't talk about because like you just see each other at mics and you're just like, hi, bye, love you, how's everything? And you're really good. And it's all just crazy.
So quick.
Yeah.
And that's
so
why it's cool
fast-paced.
that we get to hang out like this.
I know. I'm so excited to get to know you better.
Yes.
So we're travel disasters, obviously, but I want to learn about your disasters and life. But
I started long time ago. I spent my senior year abroad. I lived in South America of college.
Oh, nice.
Of college.
Abroad where?
In South America. I was in Chile.
Oh.
For like 14 months.
Holy moly.
So by the time I left, it was like, I'm like, okay, I'm going. And people are like, okay, when are you coming back? And I'm like, no, I'm
inevitably
leaving now.
Yeah.
I'm not from here.
Yeah.
I'm not Chilean. I'm actually
Are you one of those people that refers to himself as a citizen of the world?
Oh, yes.
I knew it.
I am a daughter of spirit.
Yes, I'm born of Mother Earth.
I am manifest into physical form. No,
But you had a feeling where you're just like, I don't belong here anymore.
I did feel like I don't belong, and I think it was going out into the world. Also, like I definitely lied about being American for sure. That's just a conversation. It's so easy to avoid. I feel like y'all can do it too. Just say you're Canadian.
Yeah, and nobody write you off.
Nobody has follow-up
quickly.
questions about Canada.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you guys are supposed to be nice next.
Yeah, and they don't like judge you.
It gets very judgy and very politically heated immediately when people are like, when people are like, when it gets very judgy and very politically heated, and very triggering. Actually, nowadays is a great time with old little Don in office.
Oh my God,
I was in Guatemala.
They
for
literally
a month.
are like, "Are you all right?
Yes,
you are
literally
a refugee now."
Are like, "Oh my God, you don't need to go back there."
Yeah, let's just stay here for the next 18
this
months.
Is so cool. People having sympathy for Americans,
which is rare.
Yes, he is my president. Yeah. I love this. I love that people are like. It's so bad that people are worried for us.
Yes.
That's never been a thing.
Like
it was always like our fault before.
Yes.
And now it's white women's fault.
Yes.
Sorry, Mary.
That's okay.
53% of y'all.
That wasn't me.
I know it wasn't you. That's how it was being American. And then just being out and be like, why is George Bush reelected? And you'd be like, dude, I don't know. But
it's not,
And then,
I only have so much power. It's just one vote. I promised I voted. Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's in a sense a disaster. And I really like the way that we can interpret that concept of a disaster because it's also an opportunity, a challenge.
Right.
And then sometimes there is just this is a disaster.
Yes.
This is so bad. The key is inside the car that is sinking into the river now. And, there's this Pepsi truck coming that will
Did that happen
tow
to
us
you? What are you? Are these based on facts?
Yes,
what?
That is. I was in this van with my friend in Mexico someplace and in Guatemala, and he's like, I think I can just cross this river. And it was like, dude, I don't think so. And he drove like not even a little bit into the river and we started like drowning the van.
Holy shit.
Almost immediately. And then it was like, shoom, all these village people came out of nowhere. Everybody's trying to push the van. They're all laughing at him. I'm laughing at him. We're all laughing. He's getting really mad. And then this Pepsi truck came out of nowhere and we hitched ourselves to the Pepsi truck and towed us out. And then we had to take the car to the mechanic because
were you in the car when it was filling up with water?
Yeah, but it was just to like our
knees
feet.
or something.
Yeah, not even to our knees, but scary enough. Like coming to like the bottom of your shoe.
Did you open the door or did you smash the window?
And then we had to close the door and climb out.
Because you're like not supposed to open a door. That's what they always say.
I think I have a picture someplace that I can send you and you can post on the info for this.
Oh my gosh,
and it's stuff like that then did turn into like a really sweet little like, we are now camping next to this
let's make the most of this now.
You have
that's
to.
so positive. Yeah.
And,
but he's like, I just lost a fucking van. That's like $20,000 in my life.
Oh no, we went to the mechanic.
Oh, okay,
and
good.
When
they're like, we can rescue this underwater van.
We rescued it. We rescued the van.
I thought you just like would lose the money and like lose the van forever.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is a part of the ocean now.
When I say drowning, I mean like to the bottoms of our feet.
Okay,
Water started to get in, and then we closed the door.
Me. I'm
I know,
picturing
it's so exciting.
Wow.
Well, that's what it felt like. It felt like, that's it. We're going under.
Yes.
And you're laughing at these stupid, because you just make decisions because you have to, make decision to move forward, and then you handle the consequences
as they come.
So
tell me about your life. You had a mini story for me that you wouldn't tell me before the show, and then you have your big.
Oh, that's so funny.
Kaboom.
Because you sent notes. And
I know. I don't want to know
this
before because I want.
And I really like that
want it
because
to be a surprise.
There's stuff that happens when you're just flowing and impromptu, and then there's like, okay, I actually thought about it. And the thing about traveling is once you start, also you're going to be on the path with lots of other travelers.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, you work in the guest house and stay for free.
Oh,
you know? And then you are a massage therapist. That's part of how I became a massage therapist because that's something that you can take.
I just need cash, and
that's something you can take on the road and you can do
Tourists
anywhere.
love massages on vacation,
and everybody has a body.
Yeah,
and if you're in movement communities, where I was like fire dancer, community. So I'm at a festival and I can set up like my little station, and then you have the people with their wares. I love crafts, but when you see people like with a whole blanket full of like stuff that they've actually made,
the knickknacks and the
oh my God, that level of production. I mean, that's a job. That's a job.
Yes, and then for the payoff, the return on investment, I can't imagine is very high because they're like, I'll sell it 5 for $10, and you're like, you're giving these away. You probably made.
And how long did it take you? That doesn't make any sense at all in terms of the time you've invested. Absolutely,
I agree.
The first like actual hustle that I had, I met this Brazilian girl.
So how long were you on the road, like total? Because
like 12 years.
Okay, and this was starting from post-college.
Post-college, then I was home for a bit. Then I went to India with my folks. A lot of, privilege there. I'm going with them to see the family. So then it's like they're getting that ticket, and I'm like, I'm staying.
And you just didn't go back?
I just didn't come back.
What? What did your parents say?
Oh my God, I just heard my dad tell the story.
Because your parents are pretty conservative. They're not just the type of people to be like, spread your wings. Dude. They like wanted you to be an engineer or something.
My dad told a story recently, and it's so funny. He's like, then after her undergrad, she says, Mom, Dad, I'm staying in India.
Oh my God.
And we're like, girls can't be alone after sunset. And she says, I don't care. And then she just stays. And then we ask her, what are you doing for money? And she says, I'm teaching Hindi. She doesn't speak any Hindi. This is my dad. I'm 35 now. I'm like, how many people have you told this story? Shame on you.
Yes.
I speak enough Hindi to hustle foreigners and travelers.
You could teach
people who don't speak any Hindi
to Hindi people.
Also, but it was more
Hindi
like
people not
Hindi people is not a thing.
Hindi people, Indian people, or
Hindi
you
people.
could speak or teach English to.
And that's you're already doing. Y'all can teach English anywhere.
Yeah, that is
like
weird.
With not ESL. What am I talking about? That's English as a second language.
Right.
There's a program that you can go to footsteps.com. That is a great website for like, you just sign up and you can be sent as an English teacher. Literally, there are places all over the world. I met this dude from New Zealand who is teaching. Should we get sponsored
by footsteps.com?
Today's episode is brought to you by footsteps.com.
Or you can be a teacher
English,
abroad.
The only language that matters.
That's our first ad. So you're like, I'm going to make a living off of teaching Hindi.
No, that was like
was just your wishful
Swiss
thought.
Germans asked me.
So where did you start? Did you stay with like your family?
It's like if somebody asked you to do 30 minutes tomorrow and you only have 15, you're going to be like, yes, bitch.
Yeah.
I will come. So like if people would ask, will you teach me Hindi? And they hear you speaking jacked up Hindi, which is way more than they speak, then it's like, I can, and I'm being transparent also. Like, I will teach you jacked up Hindi for 100 rupees, which is like $2 for an hour, which is way more rupees than 0 rupees.
Right, you're like, I can
when you have no money.
This. Right,
when you have no money, and when I met this Brazilian girl in India, and I went with her to Italy to sell clothes.
Wow,
that she was making in India, and I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to be so good at this, and I hated it. I hate it. But that's why you got to try stuff. Because we're in our minds about things that we think that we would do and be good at. And then you get to this other side where you're actually doing it. And you're like, oh, I didn't think about having to carry the clothes. I didn't think about having to like be on these beaches and talking to these rich, bitchy ass European women.
Ew.
Which was fun. We'd be like, for every dress that you buy, one of Sonal's cousins in India.
So horrible.
Will finish medical school. And I wouldn't even say anything. I would just like do my little Indian head bobble, and I'm like fucking patanging so hard.
Oh
like,
my God.
That is so bad.
That's so bad.
And it was fun.
They probably ate that shit up. They're like, yes, I'm supporting people. Like,
and it was fun, and it was fun. The girl that I was working with was, having a grand old time doing it. But I was like, this sucks. I hate this. But then it was because of being in that environment that I got exposed to juggling and fire dancing.
Yes. Wait, so you're the most fascinating person that I've ever met. But
oh my God, thank you so much.
And I'm sure
Please follow me on Instagram. It's really fascinating.
Yes. At Razor Bliss. And
it's such a dorky.
It's the best.
There's a whole story behind that
too. Not your whole trip was not peachy keen. So you're finding
there's always stuff. I mean, for example,
let's get into the disasters. Tell me the shit that fucking happened. I want to know.
With the clothes, for example, there was one time where a whole shipment, like 3 big bags of clothes, were supposed to be sent to Rome, and they were sent to Romania.
Oh my God! So you're like, I guess we're getting on a train to go to Romania.
No, I mean luckily that's not my money that's being invested, but that was a whole. Oh God, that's just an example.
That sucks.
And then I traveled for many years with just cash and whatever like hippie wares, no bank account, which sounds really cool, and it was also
Jason
very
Bourne?
annoying.
Like what?
I know, right? That would be dope if I arrived in places like, oh, where's my briefcase full of passports?
Yes,
and currencies
and guns. Yeah,
great. I'd be like, gun, throw it in the.
Yeah,
I'd be so scared. I'm so scared of guns. What the hell? What the hell? Anyway, and then there was one time which was the cool thing about having cash was, you really were in the situation where you get someplace and you're like, I got to get my hustle on.
Yeah.
Because I literally don't have any money. There's food and spaces, people who will welcome travelers all over the world. Over the world.
Yeah, it's crazy how people will just come together and be humans of the planet and help you when you actually need people.
And you're always going to be challenged by people of authority.
Yes.
All over the world.
Yes.
So and then so I'm leaving India and I have a passport. Where am I going? I'm going to Spain because I heard that it was a good spot to go work in the summertime as a massage therapist and a fire dancer. My passport was a disgrace at the time. I had been living in India for 6 months, and the passport had lived through a monsoon season.
Oh, God.
And it looked like a little, termite gym. And I walk up to check into my flight in India, and the guy behind the counter takes my passport, looks at it, hands it back to me, and says, no possible.
Just no.
And he just redirects his eyes to the next person in line. And I'm like, what? No, I can't. What? I have to go back to Delhi. I'll have to get a new plane ticket, accommodations for a few nights, passport. I don't have any money for that shit. So all of that is happening.
I'm getting on this plane.
I am getting on this plane. So in that split second, I look at him and I'm like, and I'm like, listen, and I'm like, mere cousin bhai ka shaadi hai kal, and I'm like, it's my cousin's wedding tomorrow.
Yeah.
In London.
Yes.
And if I'm not there, I can't even say it out loud. I am choreographing all of the dances. We have been rehearsing on Skype. There are 17 cousins. My mother will die.
Yes.
She won't kill me because she'll be dead.
Is this really what happened, or were you just making this up so that they would let you through? Was there really a wedding, or were you like...
I was really flying one way to Spain to be a massage therapist and a fire dancer. I told you that earlier.
You were just making up the wedding?
Of course. And it's so funny because you're like...
I'm believing you. I'm like, oh my God, how terrible. I would have let you through.
Because you're like, okay, I'm not being treated like a human right now.
Yeah.
I'm being treated like a little cog in this machine that this dude, he's working, he needs to keep it running.
And you're like, wait.
And that's when you need to be like, dude, I'm a human being and I need your humanity to connect to me right now, and I need your help. And I'm like, if I'm not there, my mother will die. He looks at me and he's like, 1 minute. And he takes the passport and he goes off, into wherever, and I'm sweating. I am sweating, and the clock is ticking because even if they let me fly, I am down to the wire, so I might lose the plane.
Right.
A few minutes later, whatever it felt like, 20 minutes, 2 minutes, he comes back and he's like, come. He's just doing this little wave, come. And he takes me through to immigration, where now there is an older, large mustache man.
Oh my God.
who looks at me and he looks at the passport and he looks at me and he looks at the passport, then he looks at me and he's like, you will go to your cousin's wedding.
Oh my God, your fake ass lie worked.
And I gave him an Oscar-worthy performance.
Oh my God.
I burst into tears. I shook with relief.
I was like, so nervous. I'm picturing like Borat, like putting on a rubber glove, like about to search your behind, like not letting you through.
That totally happened later. And then I scurried away to get to security and I like relaxed into this like little snickering, smug face and I let out my little quiet cackle.
Customs, yes.
Like the count from the Muppets.
Count Sonal.
and I got where I was going and I traveled with that passport for another 6 months before I finally replaced it. So, and that's a whole other story. And then the real story that I wanted to tell was the story of how. And the real story that I wanted to focus on is that of my leg. I broke my leg while I was living in India in 2015. It was a little hit and run, just a little hit and run.
That's all.
We're like another motorcycle. I was on the back of a motorcycle passenger.
Of like a handsome man.
Handsome man that I barely talked to. He's like...
Whatever. Screw him.
Yeah, screw him. Screw him. I wish. He's dating somebody else.
I'm picturing like Fabio with like long hair, a motorcycle.
It was like that. Yeah. Like lots of can't believe it's not butter rubbing everywhere. And we were on our way to meet our friend for like his last night in town. We were on our way back from another town. And I mean, it's the last stretch of like a 5-hour bike journey.
Jesus.
And
also
then
with some friend. I'm not doing that. On a bike?
Well, I mean, that's kind of normal. It was a trip. It was a trip.
Yeah.
Like we went.
But to hold on to someone for 5 hours.
Oh my God. I had a guitar strapped to my back, which had a ukulele strapped to that, which had like, which actually was
I don't
like.
need clothes. I just need instruments.
Well, the clothes were in the little side
there
bags,
you go. Yeah.
Right? And then we had, thank God for some of that stuff because that actually took some of the impact, like when I, the instruments weren't really damaged. Anyway, that's, thank God. But my leg was broken.
Yeah.
I was like, is ukulele okay?
So were you guys hit by a car or
That's what we
motorcycle?
Thought. We thought we were hit by a car. Then we're at the hospital and like the police come in and they're like, we have it on the CCTV.
Whoa.
It was another motorcycle.
Whoa.
It was like a Yamaha. And I'm like,
that's so shitty. I thought there was like a motorcycle code, bro.
Dude, when you're over 1 billion in a freaking country,
yeah,
like,
they're fucking everywhere.
Every man for themselves.
Yeah.
It's very catch me if you can culture. My uncle told us that when we were kids. He's like, he knocked into somebody, like, not somebody.
Fuck, yeah.
He was like, catch me if you can. And he like gunned it out of there. I'm
Holy
like, this
shit.
is so different.
So that's what happened to you.
That's what happened to me. And then I'm there and they didn't set the leg properly.
Well, describe like getting peeled off the side of the road. That's fucking crazy.
Well, I mean, all of that is crazy because there's no, like, the ambulance was on strike.
Yeah.
That day, so then it's like 10 dudes trying to like get me onto this wooden board and push me into the back of this police truck.
Oh my God. So it's not even like a real ambulance. You're
and
just
then,
like...
and I remember, dude who was with me, the driver on the bike, like he's very scared because he's like, am I okay? Like I feel okay.
Yeah.
But I have
am
so
I
much
shock?
adrenaline.
Like, this
am
is
I
crazy?
shocked?
Did I break something?
And I'm looking at him.
Of course he's making it about himself.
I know, what a dick.
I hate this guy.
He was actually very, very amazing when it was all happening, and like, we're all works in progress and God bless
Whatever.
him.
Stop being nice.
Bless it.
So you're in the back of this chicken truck.
I'm in the back of the chicken truck, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, look, see, I guess I'll dance. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Like being like Miss Vibes. I'm like, sing me something, and he goes, Amazing Grace. I'm like, okay, it's something else. I'm ready to die.
Like, it's a fucking funeral song, you dick. You're like, why do I see a light?
It's a funeral song. Oh my God, am I dying? I didn't know until you started singing that song.
Oh my God.
It's so funny. And then we get to the hospital and they're like, it's not broken, it's fractured. And I'm like, okay.
It feels pretty fucking broken.
It feels pretty broken. And they're like, it's just a fracture, so you don't even need a cast. We're going to put a brace on you.
Oh my God.
And don't move for 3 months. What? And I'm like, okay, this is a hospital.
Right.
You're the doctor.
You're telling me the right thing.
I'm so excited that I don't need to wear a cast because it's super hot right now.
That's
true. It's like summertime. It's hot. That's great. I'll
like,
be in
works
pain.
For me, yeah.
That works for me.
Oh no.
And then oh my God. And then I was like this little temple of broken leg vibes, where like everyone's coming to see me because I'm like, I'm like a very underground celebrity in the town of Arambol, Goa, population 400.
So you're like the Dalai Lama, everyone's like visiting you.
Everyone's visiting me and like bringing on, I'm like, shh, my leg needs healing vibes. Please, no yelling. No yelling around my leg.
Now bow down and worship me.
Now bow down. Yes. Kiss the leg. Not with your lips.
So you're just like in a bed? Like, where are you staying?
Oh my God, there's so many.
Whose place is this that's keeping you
too
up
many
for
details.
3
We're gonna have
months?
to. We're gonna have to have me back for. I thought you wanted the condensed version.
I know.
Like,
Sorry,
just tell the condensed version.
Keep going.
The thing is that was all very blessed. Actually, like the first week or so, because you're like, wow, these things happen and it's okay, and I have this beautiful community around me. My leg wasn't set properly, which I did not realize for 10 days.
Oh my God.
I know. So
how do you know?
I'm
so squirmy.
Pictures of my leg and of my legs, and I sent them to these like Ayurvedic bone doctors, which is like Indian medicine, traditional medicine.
What is that?
It's Ayur means life, and Veda means like study or scripture.
Oh, okay.
So that means the study of life, and then that's like Chinese medicine, Indian medicine.
Oh.
These guys who are traditional, whatever, medical.
Yeah. So you're sending pictures to them and they're like, this is not.
They texted me back on WhatsApp like, this is not set properly.
Oh God.
And I went in, that was definitely like, is that set properly?
So did you go to them? Were you like, I'm coming to you now?
I went to them.
The doctor doesn't fucking know.
And the irony was like, they were like, you are so lucky that you caught this when you did, because they're telling me all these horror stories about people's legs not getting set properly.
They're like, on day 11, your leg will fall.
Well, they're telling me about other people who had their legs not set properly, and then they have to put in all this metal months down the line.
Like the poles or the rods and stuff.
And I'm like, no, I'm so lucky that won't happen to me, and like God has led me to you guys, and I'm so grateful, and blah blah blah, and then I gave them all my money and all my time, and 3 months later they sent me off. They're like, okay, you're good now. I'm like, I'm still in a lot of pain, and they're like, well, that's normal. And you're being a little bitch,
Oh my God,
like,
yeah. Because they're like, we don't have like painkillers. Like, just suck it up.
Just breathe, big breathing.
God.
And there was a whole thing when they did the resetting that was actually very powerful. I think about this a lot when I was lying on the table and I'm like, I need painkillers. And the doctor is like, he just comes and he taps me twice on the forehead and he's like, I kill the pain. I kill the pain. And I was like, what the fuck?
Are you like, this doesn't fucking work?
And he gets right in my face and he's like, this is your karma. This has happened to you for a reason.
No.
You want to go? Where do you want to go? You should say hello, thank you to the pain. It was here. Now you know. Today you find out that you are alive. And I was like, okay, thanks. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Wow. It was.
I'm terrified.
It was, wow. It was really, that was very intense.
Can you still picture or like relive that pain?
I can't.
I know you can't like physically feel pain ever again.
The rest of, honestly, like, it went on, and then the reason that it was so ironic that they're like, you're so lucky that you have us because we're going to take good care of you. And 7 months after the initial accident, I was in the suburbs in Chicago getting 2 titanium screws put into my leg because like
it still wasn't.
Whatever it was they were doing, there was something not right. There was something like, oh my God, it just turned. Yeah, you guys have to come to the One Woman Show. Basically.
Yeah, basically.
This has all been
but it's like a year-long.
And then for
recovery,
that I can't visualize. Like I could not walk for over a year. Probably a year and a half. Then it was like with a boot and rehabilitating, and people any day that I can like move and hey, let's get it guys, pay attention. Anytime that I can, like move and be without pain because I still have like a little bit of numbness in the bottom of my right foot.
Yeah, that's wild.
And it's like honestly the gratitude practice that comes from an experience like that, and it's just like I'm so I really mean it. Every day that I get to walk and move, I'm like, this is such a miracle. And I can't imagine not being able to walk for a year now.
Yes.
Having lived it.
You're so crazy and active now.
But that's
you do so much.
And this is like a tuned down, grown up version of myself.
Yeah. Like you were probably
such a maniac when it was like 20s.
Before,
carrying around all this shit.
How old were you when it happened?
Oh, it was in 2015, so I was 32.
Yeah.
And that's when I came back finally to the States. I was like, well, I guess that's it. I have to start doing stand-up. If I'm going to be in Chicago and if I have to actually, because I feel like stand-up was always something that I knew that I was going to do eventually, but I knew that it was like once you start, that is it.
Yeah, it's addicting.
That is your life, and that is the hustle, and that is the no more normal conversations. Like I am talking to you, and I'm also multitasking, forming punchlines and premises. And it's so annoying. I can't. I'm so grateful that I spent all this time like developing myself and my relationship to self.
I was like with my sister a couple of weeks ago, and we were in her apartment, and I said something, and I was like, I need to write this down. And she was like, wow. Do you just only think in terms of jokes, right? Like, is that just, you're just always looking for something? I'm like,
and you're like,
well, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't catch it. It'll disappear.
It's called being aligned to a purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
a higher being. Yeah. I'm like so aligned.
So you learn from this. You're doing stand-up now, and
voila.
Yeah. That's all she wrote, folks.
And who knew, like the most amazing thing is having spent that much time out in the world traveling is now that there's like this incredible community out in the world that's
that's how you met me.
Hey, oh my God, you're doing stand-up now. So like whatever it is, just get out there, let disaster happen, because there's always some crazy ass story waiting for you on the other side.
Oh my God. Tuesdays with Sonal. Oh my God.
I'm like Maury. Like an old Jewish uncle.
So what's next for you? Like, do you have trips coming up? Do you have shows you want to tell us about? Like, what's going on with you?
I've just launched a project called Ra Ra Ra.
That's right.
Which just stands for Ronnie Rage Radio. And you can look this
last
up
week.
on the things.
It's so amazing.
Mary was at our debut. It's a live podcast and show. So we've got our first episode. We're in the editing process, and we're going to release that. And I'm going to be doing a one-off of the One Woman Show in August.
That's right. So follow Sonal on social media.
Yep.
What's your handle again?
Razor Bliss.
Is there an underscore in there? Or am I wrong?
There is, but it'll come up right away if you don't use it, I believe.
So follow Sonal on social media so you can figure out everything that's coming up. She's the most exciting woman that I know, so you won't regret following her. And
there's lots of exciting people out
Stay
there.
tuned. Are you traveling anytime soon? I want to go with you. Let's backpack.
I'm going to New York in July.
For pleasure or for comedy?
I was booked for a feature in a short film. I'm being flown to New York to make art.
What? Oh my God.
So that's July. And then let's see. Yeah, there's always stuff brewing. I'm definitely I'm going where I'm invited. And putting myself out there also. But if you want to invite me places, do it.
Let's do it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This was so amazing.
You're amazing.
This was the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Jazz Fuzz.
Yes, and thank you all for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.